controversy over African American studies. I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. According to BET News, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis threw a fit in January over the idea of teaching advanced placement African American studies in high schools. So he banned his education department from allowing the subject to be taught in these classes. Several Republican states followed the anti-woke warriors' lead. In September, Virginia allowed a stripped-down version of AP African American Studies that didn't include so-called divisive concepts. Meanwhile, students in Arkansas are permitted to take the course, but they do not receive graduation credits. Why do so many conservatives oppose this particular course of Black history? CBS News contributor Lisa Lang recently had a front row seat in an AP or African American Studies class in Los Angeles that shed some light on the issue. Sitting among the high school students, Ling asked if people could consider the course controversial and asked the question of who gets to teach history. I'll show the entire interview in a separate video. In this segment, which aired on Tuesday, October 10, on CBS Mornings, Susan Miller Dorsey High School social studies teacher Donald Singleton invited CBS News to experience his AP African American Studies class. Ling also spoke exclusively with Los Angeles Unified School District Superintendent Alberto Carvalho. As former Miami-Dade County Public Schools Superintendent, Carvalho took issue with DeSantis' education policies, especially the rhetoric of DeSantis and other conservatives who criticize the critical race theory known as CRT. CRT is a college-level academic framework to analyze systemic racism that is not taught in elementary or secondary schools. Republicans have used misinformation about CRT to stir up its political base to win elections. And let me interject this here before I continue to read this article. It is ironic how MAGA, Republicans, whatever they want to call themselves, are always talking about free speech and First Amendment rights. However, when it comes to Black people, when it comes to African American people, they don't want Black people to have freedom of speech. They don't want Black people to even know what the Constitution of the United States has to say about freedom of speech. Their racism, their vitriolic bigotry against Black people, and also the issue of slavery in this nation is a sore spot for the MAGAites. Newsflash, we aren't going anywhere. We're going to continue to talk about the things that matter to Black people, whether you like it or not. And by the way, Republicans are going to lose big all across the board in 2024. The College Board, the nonprofit organization that administers AP programs, spent more than a decade developing AP African American Studies, drawing on the expertise and input of scholars including Dr. Henry Louis Gates, Jr., the Alfonso Fletcher University professor and director of the Hutchins Center for African American and African American Research, let me read that again. Dr. Henry Louis Gates, Jr., the Alphonse Fletcher University professor and director of the Hutchins Center for African and African American Research at Harvard University. Under the College Board's timeline, 60 high schools nationwide piloted the course in the 2022-2023 academic year, and hundreds more will offer the program this academic year. Things will get even more interesting next year when all schools can begin offering AP African American Studies. Now MAGA that and woke that. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender, never quit.